Hello everyone, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you 5 beginner sewing projects that you can make for 18-inch dolls like American Girl or German Girl, and of course they can be made for any type of doll you'd like. So here are the things you're going to need to make all 5 projects. And the first project that we're going to make is going to be a skirt. So the first thing you want to do is measure a piece of fabric around your doll about 1.5 times. And then cut a rectangle, and then cut another rectangle the same length but smaller in a different color that matches. Then you're going to fold that in half, good side is facing out, and then flip it so the raw edge is facing down on the other rectangle, like you can see what I'm doing. Then you're going to sew a straight stitch all the way down that edge. So then when you fold that over, you should have the nice, neat, folded edge down. Then you're going to flip it so the bad side is facing up, and you are going to fold over and hem the top. But you're going to make sure that an elastic can fit through the fold. Once it's sewn, you're going to put a safety pin at the end of the elastic and simply weave it through the casing that you made at the top of the skirt. Once you come out the other end, I like to use the safety pin to pin through the fabric and the elastic just to hold it in place. And then you should have something like this. Once that's done, take your elastic and you're going to pull on the fabric and the elastic to gather the fabric up and to create a gather all the way along the top of the skirt. Then you're going to wrap that around your doll, and you are going to pull it and gather it just enough until it can fit around the doll's waist, and you're going to want to pin that again. I like to use a safety pin for this so it won't come out. And you want to make sure it's tight enough that it has to stretch a little bit to get on the doll and it's on there nice and tight. Then you're going to sew it closed, and I would recommend back stitching over the elastic a few times. And I backstitch at the end too, just to make sure nothing comes undone. Then you can remove all the pins and cut away any elastic and fabric and of course the extra threads. And then you should have something like this. All you have to do is flip it right side out and you have an elastic waist skirt that should be easy to make for any type of doll. And it's a great way to start learning to use elastic in your projects if you're a beginner at sewing. And you can see these are all different versions that I made. And these are just different combinations. And this last one, instead of adding the extra piece to the end, I just folded and hemmed it over at the bottom. So now we're going to use the sock to make a pair of socks for the doll. This one is really the only one you can only do for a larger doll because it wouldn't really work for a doll that's a lot smaller. But what you're going to do is flip the sock inside out, then measure it on your doll how high you want it, then fold it up to her toes like I'm doing, and then cut off, leaving just a little bit of extra. Then you're going to sew 2 lines down the middle of the sock like this. So you can see I'm sewing it all the way down. And then you're going to sew 1 straight stitch right across the bottom. Once that's done, you can cut off any extra fabric and thread, and then you're going to cut up between the 2 lines you sewed first. So just cut it right down the middle to separate the sock in half, and you should have 2 separate pieces that are already sewn together. And then after that's done, you just want to flip it inside out, and it's that easy to make a pair of socks. And you can do them obviously any type of sock you'd like. Just make sure it's still good on the top if you choose to use an old sock with a hole in it. Usually the top part's okay, so you can pretty much use any sock you want. And so these are some fuzzy ones I decided to make this time, but you can obviously do any color and any type. These are some knee-high pink ones, and these ones are shorter and they're blue. So now we're going to make a simple top out of a piece of a t-shirt fabric. So cut a rectangle that is stretchy lengthwise, and make sure when you wrap it around your doll you have a few inches extra. Then you're going to flip the t-shirt material inside out, wrap it on your doll, and then pull it just a little bit tight and pin it into place. Just remember that you need to make sure it stretches lengthwise and not up and down, or it's not going to work. Then you're going to sew a straight stitch all the way down, and then you're going to cut off the extra. If you want, you can back stitch the ends, and then you're going to flip it inside out, well, right side out, and there you go. That's all you have to do. So since it's a stretchy t-shirt material, it shouldn't fray, but you can choose to hem the edges if you want, or you can just fold it over to get a neat edge. And that's all you have to do to make all types of tube tops that you like. This one I made white, and I added these tassels and beads to both sides to add a little bit of a different style, I guess. And this one is hemmed, so you can see that. And this one I added ribbon on the top to make straps. And this one also has the ribbon as straps, but I made it a lot longer and a bit looser to make a dress instead. So there are obviously lots of different ways you can make it. Now we are going to move on to making some gloves. So you're going to take a small piece of stretchy fabric that stretches lengthwise again, and it needs to wrap around your doll's hand, and you're going to cut 2 of those. Then you're going to fold it in half, good side to good side, and you're going to sew down the side on a bit of an angle. So you can see it angles inwards a little bit. And then you're going to cut off the extra fabric and thread, and then you just cut a hole near the top, the wider portion of it, that can fit your doll's thumb. And then once you flip it inside out, you just need to repeat it to make a second one, and then you have a pair of fingerless gloves. It's that easy to do, and this would be easy to resize for different types of dolls, and they're really fast and easy to make. It takes like 5 minutes to make both. And then once you put it on your doll and slip the thumb through the hole, you're done. So they should look something like this, and this is another one I made out of fleece. And now finally, we are going to be making a quilt for your doll that is actually pretty simple to make. You just need to cut a bunch of squares of fabric. And the best way I found to do that is to trace something square, or make your own square on a piece of cardboard or something like that, and then just trace that on to the fabric. Once you cut those out, lay them in rows that you want your quilt to be. So you can see I have kind of my design going, and you just want to lay them in a row, and then you're going to start at one end and fold them good side on top, good side to good side on top of each other. Just take 2, then sew a straight stitch and unfold them, and you have the first 2 sewn together. Then you're going to move over and do it again, making sure it's good side to good side, and just line up the edge and sew a straight stitch down, just like that. And then you're going to, of course, continue all the way down the first row until it's all sewn like this. And don't forget to add like about 1 or 2 extra squares, depending how big you want your quilt to be, because it's going to be smaller in the end with all the seams. And then you're just going to go all the way along and do all the rows to your quilt. Then you're going to fold 1 row on top of the other and put them good side to good side and sew straight across the bottom, like that. So it should look like this once it's opened up. And then you're going to do it again to all the other ones. You're going to fold them over and sew them across. And then when it's unfolded, it should look something like this, and you just want to try to line up the corners and the colors as best as you can. And then you're going to flip it so the bad side's facing up, and all you're going to do to finish the quilt is hem the edges. I have made quilts before, and normally you have to do a bit more than just hem the edges, but since it's a doll quilt and to make it a bit easier, all you have to do is hem all 4 edges and you're done, after cutting off extra fabric and thread. And this can be made in all sorts of patterns and colors, and you can really have fun with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Like always, if you have any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Bye.